One of the biggest costs you'll face when you're on a cruise is excursions. I'm Gary Bembridge of Tips for Travelers, and I'm going to tell you in this video how you can actually go on fantastic excursions and not spend as much money. Well, the first thing that I recommend you do is research. So make sure that you understand what is available in every port. Now, it's very easy to do that. You can obviously look at the cruise line excursions because they will have little booklets, or you can look online and understand the sort of things that you can do in the range of things that you can do. Secondly, of course, look at blogs or other online cruise sites. So there's things like Cruise Critic, there's obviously blogs, even like my own, Tips for Travelers, which will cover many ports. So you can just basically search online and look for port guides. Of course, you can watch many videos. There's many great video tours of destinations and excursions and port tours. So basically find out what is available and the range of things to do. The second thing that I'd recommend you do is understand how busy the port is likely to be. Now, if you find that you're going to a port where there's 5 or 6 ships, there could be 15,000, 20,000 people there. And so that may influence what you actually want to do, because there'll be a lot of people going on all the popular trips. So how do you know how many ships are going to be in any one place at any one time? Well, the good news is there's a website that tells you just that. And the website is called cruisetimetables.com. And the great thing about that website is you basically put in the port, you put in the day you're going to be there, and it will tell you what ships are there and how many people those ships are likely to have on board. So it gives you a great sense of how busy a port's going to be, and will help you decide what you want to do that particular day. So the third thing, of course, is then to go through that list of cruise line excursions and decide which of those that you really want to do, and no matter what, those are the ones you want to do. During that process, you'll decide the things that you really want to do. So my fourth tip is then to look at alternatives. Now, there are many alternatives to the cruise line excursions. There are companies that specifically develop tours and excursions similar to those that are offered by the cruise lines, and often many more alternatives to the ones offered by the cruise lines. So some of those sites are shorefox.com, shoretrips.com, cruisingexcursions.com, and shoreexcursionsgroup.com. So there's a number of sites that basically will put together for every itinerary and every port alternatives to cruise line excursions. And actually the great thing about looking at those sites is you'll find other people have posted photographs, sometimes videos, and reviews of the different excursions. What's great about those sites as well is you basically put in the name of your ship, your dates, it will bring up your itinerary, every single port, and then you can go through port by port, and it will tell you what excursions are available for your specific ship on that specific day in that specific port. What you will find is many of the excursions are similar, tend to have slightly smaller groups, and are usually much cheaper. Now, my next tip is actually to look at private guides. There's a whole range from relatively inexpensive ones through to very expensive ones. So one great alternative, which tends to be relatively inexpensive, is local tour guides. And you can find those through a site called toursbylocals.com. So you could go on there, take a look at the port you're calling on, and you will often find a relatively inexpensive local guide. Or you can look on things like Cruise Critic, where you'll find, particularly in the roll call for your particular cruise, a lot of people will be looking for people who want to combine together. You can find a guide, 2, 3 of you, 4 of you, maybe up to 6 of you. You can share one guide. Now, one of the great alternatives, and probably the least expensive of all of your options, is to use a Hopon Hopoff bus. These are a great alternative. So Hopon Hopoff buses are in pretty much every port that you will call on. These buses will take you to all of the main sites that are in the particular port. They will be relatively inexpensive. And what also happens, which is great, is Hopon Hopoff buses will either have a stop at the place where your ship docks or the cruise port, or if ships are in on that day, they add an extra stop because they see this as a big, obviously, business opportunity. Hopon Hopoff buses are great. They're inexpensive. You'll have commentary in multiple languages. It will take you to all of the places that you want to go to, all of the critical places, and obviously, because it's Hopon Hopoff, you can spend as much or as little time. It gives you an overview through the commentary of the history, the significant things that you're going to be seeing, and it's a great alternative. So that is probably the best and most cost-effective way. Of course, you can go out self-touring yourself, but the great thing about Hopon Hopoff bus is it combines self-touring, but with all that great commentary, information, and you don't have to worry because someone's curated it. And the great thing is, because it will come back to the cruise port, you can just check the times and make sure that you're back in plenty of time for the ship. Cruise excursions can cost a lot of money. It can be many hundreds of dollars added on to your vacation cost. So hopefully that's given you some alternative ways and given you more confidence to look at options and alternatives to cruise line vacations. If you liked the video, I'd love it if you gave it a like, but even more importantly, please subscribe to Tips for Travelers and you'll get much more cruising and travel inspiration, advice, and tips.